Babylon Project was our last, best hope for peace.
Babylon 5 is a visionary sci-fi show that follows the adventures of the Babylon 5 space station and its crew as they deal with politics, war, and other challenges of close quarters living. And even if sci-fi isn't your go-to genre, this show had superb writing that humanizes every far-out situation. Babylon 5 was ahead of its time in many ways, dealing with complex political and social issues in a way that various species in science fiction land is the perfect simulation. It also sported a talented and diverse cast. All told, it is still considered one of the best science fiction shows ever made. I am your captain, Nostalgic Nick, and today we're heading back to that space station to see what the cast of Babylon 5 got into after the show ended. If you enjoy our deep space exploration, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more cast rewinds like this. Mira Furlan. Delenn is one of the alien ambassadors, the Minbari one to be exact, who later in the show uses a special artifact to become a Minbari human hybrid. And her actress Mira Furlan did a commanding job leading the vessel of a show. Whenever she spoke, she demanded attention and respect. Mira is a Croatian actress who in the States is not only widely known for her Delenn, but also as Danielle Rousseau on the ABC super hit Lost. She was a mysterious other, I believe the first they encounter in season 1, back when Lost was really quite good. Furlan began her career in Croatia in the 60s before immigrating to the US in the early 90s. She fled the Croatian War of Independence, but prior was described as Yugoslavia's answer to Meryl Streep. In the 1980s, Furlan sang for a band called Le Cinema, a spin-off from the rock band Film. And in the 90s, she released an album called Songs from Movies That Have Never Been Made. Music, film, TV, stage productions, this woman did it all. But sadly, I was surprised to find that Mira passed away in 2021 at the age of 65 from complications of the West Nile virus. And this is a heartbreaking way to start, so let's hope some of the other Babylon 5 crew is still with us. Richard Biggs. Dr. Stephen Franklin is Babylon 5's chief medical officer, and Biggs played a very believable TV doctor, even out in space. Many people will also recall Biggs as Marcus Hunter on Days of Our Lives, as he completed nearly 400 episodes from 1987 to 92. Then his final role was in 2002. He began a 15-episode arc on Patricia Richardson's medical drama Strong Medicine. Biggs died quite unexpectedly in 2004, collapsing at his Los Angeles home from complications stemming from aortic dissection. The actor was just 44 years old. Stephen Furst.
Why make history if you fail to learn by it?
You know, Veer, you have what the Earthers call a negative personality.
Veer is the diplomatic aide to Centauri Ambassador Londo, and along with his aide, Furst brought sharp comedic skills to this role, serving as the primary comic relief. Furst began his career in the early 70s, appearing in a number of commercials, but his first film role was 1978's Animal House, wonderfully playing Kent Flounder Dorfman. Before acting in Hollywood, he was delivering pizzas. And desperate for a break, he started putting his headshot and resume inside the pizza boxes. And it worked. He was discovered by producer Maddie Simmons, who cast him in Animal House. Even his wife Lorraine got in on the act, sporting a cameo in the film as the girl he asked for 10,000 marbles. Before he was a Centauri, he was a doctor. His big TV break was Dr. Elliot Axelrod on Saint Elsewhere. His final project was the 2005 TV movie Basilisk, the Serpent King. And it was one of 3 low-budget Sci-Fi Channel films that he also directed. And I'm sad to say, Stephen Furst died from complications related to diabetes in June of 2017. He was 63 years old. Both of his parents also died from complications of diabetes, and Stephen was diagnosed with type 2 at age 17. Rest easy, Veer. Andreas Katsoulis.
I thought your patience was infinite.
Since space and time are curved,
The infinite sooner or later bends back upon itself and ends up where it began.
G'Kar is the Narn ambassador to Babylon 5 and has one of the better arcs on the show, beginning as a gruff bully and ending pretty wise. Andreas really gave a lot to Babylon, probably the best acting performance on the show. Aside from G'Kar, you will certainly remember his one-armed villain in the epic Harrison Ford thriller The Fugitive. But sadly, Andreas was a lifelong smoker. Reportedly, he would only stop smoking when the cameras were rolling. And the gifted actor died in February of 2006 at the age of 59 from lung cancer. He was survived by his wife and 2 children from a previous marriage, Michael and Catherine. Peter Jurasik. From the best acting performance to a close second, Peter Jurasik wonderfully portrayed Londo, the Centauri ambassador. He provides so much to the show, from humor to his tragic series arc. Londo and G'Kar had such wonderful on-screen chemistry, and apparently it went deep off-screen as well, as the two were best friends. They would be the only ones allowed to improvise a bit while cameras rolled. 2 very skilled actors at work.
What has come into our lives, Norm, is so big. It is so powerful, Norm.
Aside from his Londo, he is known as Sid the Snitch on the 80s cop drama Hill Street Blues, as well as the short-lived spin-off Beverly Hills Bunts. 2 film roles you may recall are his Crom in the 1982 film Tron, and co-starring with John Ritter in 1990's Problem Child. Today, Peter is 72 years old, and we last saw him in a 2017 episode of the PBS show Mercy Street. But apparently, he has been working on a Babylon 5 project with the remaining original cast members. So we'll all have to wait patiently to see if anything comes from that. Michael O'Hare. Captain Sinclair is the first commander of Babylon 5, a seasoned military official and loyal captain to his crew, before he becomes Earth's ambassador to Minbar. Other projects include The Addams Chronicles, T.J. Hooker, and The Cosby Mysteries. And from Harvard to Juilliard, this guy is well learned. And on the stage, O'Hare has appeared in quite a bit as well, including the stage version of A Few Good Men. After Babylon 5, he completed 2 episodes of Law and Order before retiring in 2000. And I know, again with some bad news, O'Hare died September of 2012 after suffering a heart attack. Before his death, he was allegedly suffering from severe mental illness and paranoid delusions. Show creator J. Michael Straczynski revealed that he had known about Michael's mental illness, which partly led to his character being written out after season 1, minus 3 brief guest appearances. That is a dark turn for a very talented actor. Jerry Doyle.
Really hate it when you get heroic. Cuts into my business. Man's gotta earn a living, you know?
Garibaldi is Babylon 5's chief of security, who later leads the covert intelligence arm of the Interstellar Alliance. And he and Sinclair made a great team. Doyle began his career as a corporate jet pilot and then spent a decade as a stockbroker on Wall Street, all before jumping to acting in the 1990s. But Babylon would far and above be his most prominent role, because he was a very busy man, also involved in politics. Following Babylon 5, he ran as the Republican Party candidate for California's 24th Congressional District. He actually won the primary without spending any money on the campaign, but was beaten in the general election by the Democratic frontrunner Brad Sherman. Jerry Doyle sadly died in July of 2016 at the age of 60 due to complications of chronic alcoholism. Yes, another sad end to a Babylon legend. Bill MUMY. Lanier is the diplomatic aide and sidekick to Minbari Ambassador Delenn. And his actor Bill MUMY does a bit of it all, an actor, singer, songwriter, and composer. But yes, most people know him being warned of danger by a robot, famously playing Will Robinson on Lost in Space. He also narrated A&E's series Biography. And speaking of using his voice, he's had an extensive voice acting career as well, on great cartoons like Scooby-Doo, Animaniacs, and Batman the Animated Series, along with several solo albums he's released. He is also an Emmy nominee for original music for 1992's Adventures in Wonderland. Not to mention performing as half the duo Barnes and Barnes, which has released 9 studio albums. This guy stays busy for sure. Today, Bill is 68 years old and still acting. The last time we saw him was the 2019 remake of Lost in Space. And he and his Lost in Space sister, Angela Cartwright, also wrote a book together, titled Lost and Found in Space 2. That came out in 2021, so go out and grab a copy at your local bookstore. Bruce BOXLEITNER.
We talked about cooperation. You didn't want cooperation. You want war. Is that it?
Captain John Sheridan is Sinclair's replacement on Babylon 5, and he's a charming addition to the show. From Bruce's very first gig in 1973 on an episode of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, to co-starring with Peter Jurasik in Tron, BOXLEITNER has had one heck of a career. I'd say his first huge break was co-starring with James Arness in How the West Was Won. Then in the 1980s, he co-starred with Charlie's Angels' Kate Jackson in the series Scarecrow and Mrs. King. And calling all Kenny Rogers fans, you certainly remember him as Billy Montana in all the Gambler TV movies. In recent years, he's still at it. We saw him in shows like Supergirl and Matchmaker. And today he is 72 years old, and we just saw him back in space, completing a few episodes of the Seth MacFarlane created show The Orville. And if you're a fan of Babylon 5 and you haven't checked out that parody space show, you should give it a go. It's pretty funny, and he seems right at home in deep space. Although this time he's got a bit more makeup and prosthetics to work with than his Captain Sheridan did. Well, there you have it. It's been one hell of a day. It was sad to find out so many of our beloved crew members have passed away, but at least we have a glint of hope for a spin-off or continuation to look forward to. But now I want to hear from you. Who was your favorite character on Babylon 5? Which captain did you prefer? What's a great episode or story arc that really had you on the edge of your couch? Get in the comments and let's discuss an incredible sci-fi adventure, Babylon 5. But before you head out, please smash that thumbs up icon for us, it really helps. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a memory. But from all of us here at Do You Remember, we want to thank you for watching.